To all of our local, regional and international viewers, thank you kindly for choosing us here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. My dear friends, a very warm welcome to another edition of the program Conversations with Zelisa, where we continue to inform, educate, empower and answer those unanswered questions. And I always remind you and explain to you the importance of having your pen and your notebook Real TV, so you could take notes on important numbers that will be helpful for you and your loved ones. Directing this morning and in master control, we've got Mr. Philip. Nice to have you with us today, Mr. Philip, Senior Director here at Real TV. And of course, on behalf of the team, we'd like to wish each and every one of you a wonderful day today. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday, the 14th of August, 2025. So it's a day and time we'll never have the opportunity to ever have again in life. Don't procrastinate, don't waste your time, all right? Do something productive and constructive. And if you're celebrating a birthday, happy birthday. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary to you and yours, that someone special. Mr. Philip, let's go to our quote for today, coming to us with the kind compliments of Fab India Expo. And our quote says, "Whatever is in me is stronger than what is out there to defeat me." So whatever comes your way, whatever challenge, whatever storm, whatever situation, whomever is there to pull you down, I want you to know the fight within you is stronger than anything that's there to pull you down, all right? It's about you and the choices that you make and the fight within yourself to continue to keep going and don't give up, all right? That came to us with the kind compliments of Indian Style, and I believe they are now opposite the Center of Excellence. Let's go to the ad, please. I do believe we have a new ad, Mr. Philip. Let's go to that, please.
Step into the colors and flavors of India at the India in Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence, Mokoya. Experience the magic of one of the largest Ganesha Murtis in the Caribbean, with daily RT at 1 and 7 p.m. Dive into our Indian food festival, featuring a delicious variety from crispy dosa to mouth-watering tandoori specialties. Plus, explore vibrant Indian clothing, elegant outfits for the entire family, perfect for every occasion. Open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for a joyful celebration of culture, cuisine and tradition. India in Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence in Mokoya. See you there.
So remember the India in Style Expo opposite the Center of Excellence in Mokoya. Check them out. Safe and secure parking, fully air conditioned and great deals. Check them out, all right? This morning I'm in conversation with a lady whom I respect, I regard. I've known her for many, many years. And she was here recently to share her wealth of knowledge with us as a retired principal, to share information for parents, how to deal, how to cope, the choices that we make that will certainly make an impact on the lives of our children. But today she's here to share her journey, her path with regards to coping with the death of a child. Let's say Sitaram Namaste and a good morning and a warm welcome. She's a retired principal, but she's a mother, a daughter, a wife, a sister, and a dear friend to so many. And of course, I'm speaking of no other than Chandini Shamati Ramsundar, past principal. But today she's going to be talking to us from her heart as a mother. Welcome, my dear friend.
Thank you. Good morning to the listening audience. Namaste, Sitaram, Assalamu alaikum. I'm happy to be here once more again.
You're talking to us in a different capacity today, and there you're already full of emotions, and I know it's difficult. How many years?
It was 21 years on the 23rd of April.
21 years ago you lost.
He was only 14 years old.
14 years. Your Sunalal, your golden son, your child. Only you will understand that pain, how broken you feel, even though it's 21 years, it's with you. It's something that you carry with you.
It feels the same way. You relive all the moments of everything that happened that culminated into the death and all of that. And especially very emotional when you hear songs that were played at various times during, like the last few hours and last few days, and when you were told that you have to come for closure and all of that. Because my son was diagnosed with cancer. He was treated for 2 years, and eventually he ended up with a secondary cancer due to one of the side effects of chemotherapy. He was treated in a hospital in New York City, and we fought tooth and nail, thinking, allowing them to make the hospital to make all decisions. And of course we had to sign for those decisions that we were making. And with the hope that things will work out in the end. As a parent, when you are going through something like this, you think that why is it my child? Why it wasn't me? You think you can sacrifice your whole life because your child is young, your child didn't see the world, didn't experience anything, and you think that even my husband thought why it wasn't us.
Yeah.
So it's a really, in the time, especially like with diseases, not sudden death, you live with like a guillotine over your head. You are thinking, especially with cancer, you are thinking, well, things will work out, they will go into remission, they will have longer years ahead of them. But on the other hand too, you are still wondering what will happen next. So you face all the challenges, we had given yes to all the suggestions that were made by the hospital, because it was a cancer research hospital in Manhattan, Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Yeah.
So it was, sometimes I wonder which is worse, a sudden death, like accidental drowning or some sudden death, or one where you are seeing your child dying. You are watching all the, all the reactions from medication and all of that, all the treatments, and you're watching your child suffer, and you are going through, like we went through 2 years of that.
Yeah.
Watching your child suffering. When he couldn't eat, you couldn't eat either. Because chemotherapy, intravenous chemotherapy, it will affect your stomach, your intestines, it cuts up in the whole inside.
Yeah.
So the patient most time is not able to eat. So when you are watching your child like this, you yourself as a parent cannot eat.
Yeah.
You don't enjoy anything in life. You don't, you just live life one day at a time.
May I ask, is that why you have learned to appreciate life and balance life and enjoy every day? When I say enjoy every day, you try your very
Cherish
best
every day.
to live life to the fullest.
Yeah,
because I always admire how you found that balance in life. I've always admired that.
Well, let me tell you this. When things were perfect, like we didn't have this problem, every time we got a tax refund, I used to save that money and go on a trip somewhere, July, August vacation.
Right.
So it was like I always had this mindset to, give some time to myself. So I always went on my vacations. But when my son got diagnosed, and eventually he passed away, then, especially when he got diagnosed, from that time, you realize nothing you have, anything material is worth anything. So you live life I have done that, live life one day at a time. Try to be good with people, try to be better, try to be nicer. Watch what you say, watch what you do, because today we are here, tomorrow we are not.
Gone.
We are gone.
Tomorrow is not promised. I fully endorse and understand exactly how you feel, because I also lost my husband due to poor health, and that is kidney failure. Mm-hmm. So the fact is, whether you lose someone unannounced, a sudden, just a sudden death without any warning, and even if you know, like you've battled for 2 years, I also battled not only a husband who was sick for about 2 years, you're correct, for me as well, but also a little child, to manage that and manage a career at the same time, and then shut down everything and go to a foreign land, which was India, to try to get a kidney. It's really very difficult, but I would say this. So whether it's sudden or whether you are aware of the inevitable that you're hoping never to happen, the fact is you are never prepared.
That's true.
You are never prepared.
You always live with the hope that some miracle will take place. And I want to point out something at, at this juncture here. When, even though, you were hoping for the best, but you're also thinking that the worst can happen, I grew up in a family where we were very sheltered. We lived next door to a temple. I attended temple all the time. And, I went to SAG, so there was a real good Presbyterian religious background there. So I had a mixture of both religions, and we were taught to apply the values from each religion into our lives. But when this happened to you, it happened to me. I don't know if other parents experience the same thing, or people who went through, losing loved ones. I lost all faith in God. I'm not, I don't know if I should say this, but for 6 months I couldn't even pray.
Well, I
think
you're just being
disappointed
very honest.
in God. I felt, like, why me? This is how you feel. This is the worst punishment, I think, that can happen to a parent, to lose a child. This is the worst scenario.
I remember my grandmother on my maternal side, when she lost her son, which is my uncle, she said that to me, Lisa, the worst thing a mother could ever, or a person could ever experience, is having to bury a child.
That's true.
So she journeyed from Australia here to Trinidad to bury her son, which was my uncle. But like you, initially I questioned God. Why would you do this to me? I was so happy. I was in a place where, we had a miracle child. Even though she came later in life, she was prayed for, and we had our miracle child, and we had all our dreams, and we had all our goals. And this was such a wonderful blessing in my life, and why would you take it away? Why would you do this to me? I'm a good person, you question. But I will tell you this, I have learned to love God even more after that experience. Yeah. It's strange. Yes, you do question at that time.
Yes.
Now I don't. I just say, Lord, it's God, this was what
you planned.
You had in store for me. I accept it. I understand. There are days I'm broken, I'm shattered, but I do have my good days as well. And I'm stronger in faith. I'm stronger. I hold on because I believe in miracles. Yeah. I'm not lost. I think I'm even stronger in faith for the battles I've had even after that, even after my husband's death, and I've been able to overcome those battles. And I think it's only because of God. So I truly understand where you, even though you were so strong in faith, you do question, you do ask, why me? Why? I went to a conference, a women's conference on Saturday, and I met a lovely lady, and she lost her son. I think it's 6 years, she told me. He was 19 years old, and this is what she said. She said, listen, he was at the university, like other kids, picked up with some groups, went to the beach, and she said the others went home and hers never returned.
Wow.
And she's coping and dealing with that as well. So it's really a battle that we feel within ourselves, that only when you're in that shoe, or when you understand that, you've had that experience, you truly understand. It's not easy, because life goes on for us. And we still have our duty and responsibilities to our children, or to life. They're gone to the great beyond, but we're here. and we face the battle every day. We go on with the emotions, we go on with the hurt, we go on with the pain, and trying to cope. There are people who get out of that, but there are people who still struggle. This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa. I'm in conversation with Mrs. Chandani Ishamati Ramsundar, retired principal, talking to us about her journey dealing, coping, and living without her son, who died 21 years ago. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Barron. Join me right here on Real TV every Friday during our 6 o'clock major news. I'll be bringing you updates and market insights to wrap up your week. Don't miss it right here on Real TV.
Welcome to Real TV, where real stories come to life. We bring you the latest news, breaking headlines, and the stories that matter most. Need lifestyle tips? We've got those too, from wellness to daily hacks that make life better. Stay informed, stay inspired, and most of all, let your voice be heard. Real TV connects you to the world's knowledge anytime, anywhere. So check out our YouTube channel today, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We invite you to join us on YouTube at RealTV-TNT. You can also view our channel on your local cable networks.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
We are the leaders of Marriage of Marriages Ministry. I am Apostle Joel Barrett.
I am Shaman Barrett.
We are inviting you to join us for the program Back to Eden every Tuesday at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. with repeats. Let's return to the foundation of perfect love through dynamic topics of healthy marriages, relationships, love, and truth. Come, walk with us in perfect love.
Join us on Real TV.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. Thank you so much for choosing us. To all of our local, regional and international viewers, those of you on the Caribbean Showtime television in Canada, those of you on the Tego app, remember to download it on your phone and take us with us wherever you go. That's Real TV. And of course, like and share, because it's really informative as we continue to inform, educate and empower, reach out and transform lives. Today I'm in conversation with this lovely lady. She's a retired principal. She dedicated her life to service of the children of our land who are now adults and would have taken us even to international waters. Over the years, she's a proud mother of children who did exceptionally well. And of course, today she's talking to us about dealing and coping. 21 years ago, she lost her dear son to cancer, gone to the great beyond, but will never be forgotten. Never be forgotten. No. I'd like us to go down memory lane. You know, when you first found out you were pregnant, having all these dreams and these hopes, not knowing if it was a son or a daughter you were going to have. Could you take us back there to, you know, when you realized, oh, I'm pregnant?
Well, he was the fourth child.
He was a baby?
The baby, yes. He was the baby. And I think that had a different impact on us too, because when he was diagnosed, he was only 12. He was informed to in Holy Cross College. I wouldn't say it was an accidental pregnancy, but also we were not really preparing for a fourth child. But every child that comes into your life is like a gift from God.
A blessing, a miracle.
But I was not sure if it was a boy or a girl, and I had only one girl. And when he was born, I said, another boy. But he was thoroughly spoiled by the two elder siblings. And then the third child was nearer in age to him. So they always fought together, always wrestling, always, mommy, and they're fighting, and, like boys always do.
As boys.
But he was a very bright child.
Yeah.
And naturally, I'm speaking about, and, I was at university at the time, and he used to type up all my work for me in the night.
Wow.
And because he was more computer privy than I was,
Yeah.
and I was busy going to school. That time I was at St. Helena Hindu School as an acting VP. And when I had to go to university on evenings and I had papers to present or hand up at certain deadlines, and then one night he started to tell me, but when the temperatures got colder, he had osteosarcoma, which it was a lump on his right knee.
So what really happened? When did you, so this is what happened. He was getting fevers and you
Not
noticed his
fevers, he
temperature.
was getting pain.
A lot of pain.
On the spot, yes. Mom, my leg is hurting, but it was the size of a grapefruit, like almost the size.
So you saw, so
But
when,
I never thought in my wildest life this could be cancer, because he
so
was
you
always,
saw there was a lump?
eventually it came up to a lump.
A
Yes.
lump, right. So at
And,
first he just, I would just want to get it so we
Yeah.
understand. So parents can be aware and don't
you
take
must-
things for granted. And that's why I really
I
want her
learned a
to
big lesson
explain.
that way too.
Yeah. So he started saying, Mom, I'm having pain on my leg.
Especially when the weather got a little cooler.
Uh-huh.
We
And-
were in New York that Christmas. All of them, we had gotten a back pay, and I said, let me take my kids to see snow,
Yeah.
So we went to New York for Christmas, and he started to complain about the pain on his leg, on his right knee. But I was thinking, he was always on the football field
You
playing
think
cricket.
he play, yeah, some,
And he had fallen, and maybe somebody had kicked him there or something. So I just disregarded this totally, and I told him, I said, well, okay, when we go back home, we will, take you to a doctor and look into it. But that is where all the pain started.
In New York, you realize.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we came back home, and then my husband took him to Mount Hope Hospital. And one of the bone specialists looked at the x-ray in front of the child and in front of my husband. He said, this looks like bone cancer, and we have to amputate the leg.
Oh, no.
My son locked up himself for 2 days
Oh, boy.
in his room.
How could you be so inhumane?
In New York, they're not unprofessional like that.
No.
They put you around a conference table,
Unbelievable.
and a whole panel of doctors will speak to you. And because they need to, the news of cancer, you have to, so be so gentle with the family and the patient, even not the patient, but the family. So we took it roughly that day. My daughter said, Mommy, did Dad tell you anything? So I said, no. But I just came home to get a cup of coffee, change my clothes to go down to UWI. She was already in the teaching profession. She said, well, I saw my husband washing downstairs with the hose.
Yeah.
So I just went to get my coffee and go down. And then she said, Daddy took him to the hospital today.
Right.
And he has cancer. Well,
Oh,
Zelisa,
no.
I felt the whole world was crumbling.
Yeah.
The world crumbles on your head at that time.
Yeah.
And the whole, after he passed away in America, they give you counseling sessions. I went to 2 of the counseling sessions, and I cried so much, and all the other parents were crying so much, but I think the objective was to share our experiences,
Yes.
like how I am sharing now.
Yeah.
And after two sessions, my daughter said, Mom, I don't think you can take this anymore.
Yeah.
So I didn't go back, but you talk about all the experiences, like how I am talking now, and, like all that you went through during treatment, before diagnosis, after, things like that. And it's really a difficult thing. Like, I see so many parents on the news every day losing their children, and my heart goes out to them, especially the little boy last week with the intravenous
Oh, yes.
fluids
That had
and
me,
all of that.
like you, when I hear
Yes.
things like that,
Yeah.
I get Yeah.
Even that plane crash that lost so many children and families, it had an effect on me. So that after you lose people like your children or very, like close loved ones, parents, your consort, your siblings or so, you become very touchy. You walk on eggshells.
Because it's a very sensitive
Yes.
thing. It's a fragile time.
Yes.
It's very. I remember initially really locking down, not wanting to talk about it. But I think as time goes on, you do build the strength to talk about it because you realize that talking about it will help you to release the burdens as well, but also it will inspire somebody else. It will help somebody else who is currently going through what you've been there, done that. I want to go back to that day when you found out that he was diagnosed, and he didn't say, well, the possibility exists. He said outright, and you saw your husband. You went and you spoke to him. Take us back to that moment, could you?
He refused to discuss anything with me.
Yeah.
And up to now, 21 years after, every time I bring up my son's name about anything, he said, is that all you can talk about? Because he went into depression. He had to use medication for depression. I am lucky that I speak about this. I cry. Sometimes I burst out into tears when I'm talking about him, like how we are talking now. But I think that was the purpose of the counseling that I went to on those occasions, because they encourage people to relieve themselves of this burden inside of you. And when you share your experiences with other parents who are going through the same thing, I think you are giving them a sense of comfort of how to deal with this.
And
it takes a long time to deal. 2 Sundays ago, on the 3rd of August, he would have been 35 years old. And somebody played a song, a Krishna song by Jagjit Singh on the radio for him, for his soul, like peace or whatever.
Is it Krishna Jinka Naam?
Yeah. And that CD brings so much sorrow to me, but I still enjoy listening to it because that is the CD I was playing in his room when he had hours left. And the night of his viewing, because the funeral was in New York, the night of his viewing, they told me to bring a CD at the funeral parlor. And the only one I picked up was the one by Pradeep, Pinjare Ke Panchi and all the different songs. And after that, my son threw away that CD.
Your older son?
Yes, they couldn't handle hearing those songs.
Yeah.
I cannot say I feel a sense of comfort hearing those Krishna dhuns, but it brings back so many memories that I feel, I see my son in front of me, even though he was dying. I saw him and I was listening to those Krishna dhuns. And he was listening to, although he was sedated, because at the last moments with cancer, they experience a lot of pain. So what they do, they have them heavily sedated for, like the pain factor. But they listen and they know everything. I was told that by the doctors. And, I cannot tell you those moments, those hours when the nurse said, you can check the pulse. When you see the pulse start to get lower and lower and slower, that means they're almost ready to exit the body. So the worst thing I must tell you though, it was when they had to put his body into a body bag. Then reality hits you that that person is no more. Watching your child go into a body bag is the worst thing ever. But over the 2 years of expectations and disappointments, the Friday in the hospital, I had the, let me put it in local terms, I had the guts to ask the social worker. I said, Sonia, if he passes away during the weekend, where will they keep his body, at the hospital, or we have to take him to a mortuary? And she said, no, we will keep the body here. But Zelisa, after that, I went into the bathroom And I looked at it and I screamed. Because you are a mother now, your son didn't die as yet, or your patient didn't die as yet, but you are asking, what is the next step? It took a lot of grit out of me to ask that question. But then I went and I screamed it out in the bathroom. I really bawled like a cow. And well, the other terrible part was when the body left the funeral parlor to go into the hearse. But I had a lot of support in New York with families and the pundit and everybody.
Support is so important. Support is so important.
But you know, when everybody goes, you alone have to face the music. And that is when the lonely time comes and everything comes back into your face. You see visions of everything. So, but my husband couldn't deal with it and he still cannot deal with it.
After 21 years.
Yes. He has not gone back to New York. He did not renew his passport and he never renewed his USA visa. That's how terribly it can affect some people.
Yeah.
But I was able, I think the good thing with me, when in June, when we cremated him late April, I went back to work in June, and being among the children, it was a real great form of therapy for me. And I know going back out to work, going back amongst people, it's a form of therapy for anybody who have lost.
You're very correct. When you get yourself consumed,
involved,
because like you, during the week I was great, but on weekends when we had to be home, it was horrible. But during the week when you are consumed, so as you consume yourself, it's sort of healing and it helps in a great deal. You're very correct. This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa. Let's go to these important messages. Stay with us.
Peas, Nature's Pride saves you money.
1 pack of Pepe's Nature's Pride peas or beans gives you the same amount as 3.5 cans of peas or beans. You get so much more value and nutrition for so much less money when you use Pepe's Nature's Pride.
When it comes to peas and a wide range of beans, reach for the drive. Pepe's Nature's Pride.
Available nationwide.
Yes, people, you have been waiting with bated breath and you have been asking. The Future of Talk is back with yours truly, Heavy Duty, and my co-host,
TC, and we are live on Real TV from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every afternoon, Monday to Friday.
Yes, you heard it, Real TV, right here. Yours truly, Heavy Duty and TC, the Future of Talk is back.
Yeah.
Right?
A pleasant good day to one and all. I am Pastor John Arjun, pastor and founder of Passion for His Presence Ministries. I am so happy and delighted that you could join me here on Real TV every Sunday morning at 7 for the inspirational program, Breakfast and Bible. I am so happy and delighted also to come into your homes, to come into your television sets on Sunday mornings at 7 for the program Breakfast and Bible on Real TV.
Hi, I'm Malika. Do you love stories? Me too. Come join me and my friends for story time with Malika and friends. We read cool stories about princesses, pirates, animals, and even silly monsters. Every story is fun and exciting. And guess what? Sometimes my friends help me to tell them. So grab your favorite toy and get ready to listen, laugh, and maybe even dance a little. Story time with Malika and friends, where every story is super special. Right here on Real TV. See you soon. Bye.
viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. Today I'm in conversation with Mrs. Chandini Shamati Ramsundar, retired principal, but today she's talking to us about her journey dealing and coping with the loss of her son. Welcome back.
Thank you, Zelisa.
When he was diagnosed in a very, I think, horrible way, I can't understand why the authorities, especially medical doctors, I'm saying it out, isn't it common sense to be a little compassionate and understanding about how you are saying things and whom you're saying it to? Because it can be very devastating. And so when you found out, you knew then what your son was diagnosed with, and of course cancer. What steps did you take immediately with regards to getting medical attention immediately? He was just 12.
Yes, he was 12, but I contacted of course, in all the devastation, at that point in time, you don't know what to do.
I think you just need to be aggressive.
Yes.
I think you become aggressive. I did. I think my husband, when he found out, I don't know if he was in denial. I can't answer that. But I became aggressive in the sense that this is what we have to do.
Has to be
This is
done.
the next move. This is, I was, what was it, what did you all
Okay,
do?
when the doctor said what he was diagnosed with, he went a step further to talk about a biopsy. Okay? So what he described, he said, if you look at the picture, that's what they showed me too on the screen and in the hospital. The bone where there's bone cancer, it's whitish in color. Your normal bone looks darkish,
right,
because of the marrow and all of that. But where there's a disease in the bone, it has become brittle and it looks whitish in color. So he had the osteosarcoma on the right knee, right femur, lower femur, and knee.
Right.
Now, I must say that they did a lot. They did everything they could have possibly done.
In Trinidad?
No, in New York.
So you took, that's where,
I didn't do anything
so you
in
never
Trinidad.
stayed here after that. You took him abroad immediately.
Yes,
It was your
I spoke
choice.
to my family practitioner.
Yeah.
And he said, if you're taking him to New York, do not do anything here, any medical, and don't take any medical steps here because they're going to do over everything
May
there.
I ask, why did you decide to take him abroad? I'd like to
Okay,
know.
but he was born in the USA.
Okay, understood.
Yes,
Okay.
he was born in the USA, and you know that it was a very expensive thing.
Of
And,
course.
that was the plus I had, to have him treated there because he was an American citizen.
Correct.
So I took the option to take him there, and
Okay.
everything was done over there.
Okay, understood.
They did, at one point in time, they did a 16-hour surgery. At one point in time, my husband and I thought he was no more, and they didn't want to tell us while we were in the waiting room.
Yeah.
What they did,
Wow.
they removed what they explained to me, they explain everything that they do with your patient.
Great.
They keep on cutting the bone. They remove the knee, put a metal knee replacement,
Right.
and they put a femur replacement of a metal called titanium. And my son used to be, when he's taken his, he had three or four rounds of chemotherapy. They had to shrink the tumor before they did the surgery.
Right.
And do you know what happens? Now I'm explaining this so that people will learn from my
Understand,
experience.
yes, certainly.
After 21 years, I still vividly remember everything that happened. I have to thank God for my memory. Chips of bone called metastases, they lodge themselves in the lungs of the patient. They travel through the bloodstream. So 6 weeks after one big leg surgery, he had a lung surgery, and that was very painful. They had to put a drain tube at the side of his rib cage so that the lungs will be drained. You couldn't turn left or right. He couldn't turn left or right. And then a couple of weeks after that, they did the other lung. But what happened too, because I didn't know about this cancer, it was like a grade 4 cancer, already grade 4. So it was just like they were trying their best.
Yeah.
And after the titanium, he was walking with a little limp, and they did the other 2 surgeries. So he had 3 major surgeries in a matter of 2 months. I'm talking about major surgeries. And we were housed at, because the hospital was in Manhattan, our relatives lives in Brooklyn and Queens, we couldn't commute every day with a cancer patient.
Yeah.
And especially when they live on the 4th floor. So we were recommended to stay in Ronald McDonald House, which a lot of people don't know about, but it is a hostel throughout the USA for sick children under the age of 18. It's really for peds.
Yes.
So once you qualify, even though you are not you don't live in the USA, you come from an outside world, you are entitled to stay there once you're a patient. Now, they have it located in Manhattan because there are 5 hospitals in the environs.
Right.
So whichever hospital your child goes to, you could have stayed there.
Nice. So you had a place to stay.
So I had a place to stay.
You stayed with him, or your husband? You and your husband stayed with him?
No. When I was working, I was in Trinidad.
Yeah.
You know, Zelisa, one realization I have come to, and many people would say the same thing.
Yeah.
We could ask God for what we want.
Yeah.
But He is the man in charge.
So true.
He meets out. He is that player who pushes every knob in that chessboard. We could ask Him for what we want, but He decides what He has to meet out to you.
That master plan, what is yours will not miss you. It's yours. It's yours. And that's something that I live by as well.
Yes.
And if we understand that God knows yesterday, the now, and our tomorrows.
Yeah, and you can't get away from
You
that.
can't run from it.
No.
It's yours. What is destined to be will be, like it or not.
So he had these surgeries, and then 2 years after, when he was ready to come home, tickets bought and everything, he was diagnosed with a secondary cancer.
Oh.
So this is something that happens from the
Developed.
side effect of one of the chemotherapies.
Wow.
Now, while you're taking chemotherapy, so many side effects. The first chemotherapy damaged the walls of his heart, so he was seeing a cardiologist as well. The second one, which was a more acid one, that caused a lot of pain in the joints, and they said that one affected the kidneys, so he was seeing a nephrologist as well. So I went through all this, different types of specialists there with him, and the last diagnosis was he got AML. At that time, 21 years ago, they told me that there were more than 10 types of leukemia. And the one he got was AML. That is the one where the bone marrow is damaged and you do not produce any red cells anymore. We reached a stage, it was only the white cells that were there, and it was very painful because what the doctors explained to me is that your blood becomes thick like starch. It cannot pass through the veins because there are no red cells. It's mostly white cells.
Yeah.
So you have developed a different type of leukemia called AML. And this is what he was diagnosed with. It was very painful. He was diagnosed on the 9th of April and he passed away on the 23rd of April. They even asked us for samples of, to do marrow transplant, cell transplant.
Yeah.
But before all that we sent the samples and everything from Trinidad. Before all that could have been done, he expired.
Were you there when he passed?
Yes, I went up on the Tuesday. My husband didn't tell me a word of what the doctors told him. I don't know if he couldn't handle it or why he didn't tell me. And my mother-in-law told me, I think we should go up. So I don't know if she had known or she just out of intuition told me. So my third child, He was in Hillview in Form 4. My third son and I, well, Shakti was already, my daughter was living there, and my mother-in-law, we went. We arrived there Tuesday night, and he passed away Friday night. So I was able to see him for 2-3 days. I was able to call the pundit when they called us for closure. I was able to call the pundit and do a little ceremony, read the Gita, and all of that. All that took place the Thursday night, and he passed away on the Friday night. So what I was telling you too, when he passed away that night, I don't know, I got the strength to write his little eulogy because he was only 12 years old. There was not much I could have written. I even sat down and make all the malas myself. So God gives you that strength.
You do find the strength.
I went and I chose his clothes, although someone had taken me, my in-laws, my daughter's in-laws. I chose his clothes, I chose the coffin, I chose everything, because when it's your child, you think, well, this is the last I can do for the person, and you want to make sure everything is perfect. And you want to do your best.
You find the strength, and I'll tell you, God will place the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
I have faith in that. I've lived that. This is the program Conversations with Zelisa. Let's go to these important messages. Stay with us.
Step into the colors and flavors of India at the India in Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence, Mokoya. Experience the magic of one of the largest Ganesha Murtis in the Caribbean with daily arati at 1 and 7 p.m. Dive into our Indian food festival featuring a delicious variety from crispy dosa to mouth-watering tandoori specialties. Plus, explore vibrant Indian clothing, elegant outfits for the entire family, perfect for every occasion. Open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for a joyful celebration of culture, cuisine and tradition. Indian Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence in Mokoya. See you there.
Hello everyone, I am Terrence Brown, and I'm bringing you a new program called Victorious Lifestyle on Real TV. This program is about dealing with all the problems that we may have through demon possession, family conflict. If you're in need of counseling, if you are confused and anxiety is stepping in about what is happening in the world today, we are dealing with Bible prophecy. This is a program of hope, a program of power, a program of peace. It is Victorious Lifestyle, every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. God bless you.
Looking for music that moves your heart and captivates your soul? Real Radio sets the mood, where sound becomes emotion and every moment pulses with real rhythm. From the hits you love to the voices that speak truth. It's real facts, real talk, real music. Listen live at realtv.radiostream321.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my supreme and extraordinary pleasure to invite you to join us on Real TV every Wednesday at 2 p.m. for this special, spectacular program called Inspired. We will bring hope to the hopeless, joy to the sorrowful. We will bring satisfaction to those who are depressed and anxious. You just can't afford to miss it. And you have to tell your family members, your friends, and your enemies that every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on Real TV, we have real inspiration. The title of the program is Inspired. See you there.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome, welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you. And I want to invite you to stay with us a little longer today. We've got a double blessing, a double show today, because I'm going to be in conversation at 11 o'clock with Mr. Uday Ramischand, attorney at law, and he's going to be talking to us about the Stand Your Ground law. So we continue to inform, entertain, we continue to answer those unanswered questions. But right now I'm in conversation with Mrs. Chandani, and you know Chandani comes from the beautiful word Chand, which means moon, and she's like the moon in every way, such a bright light. Ramsundar, and she today is sharing her journey, her experience, and more importantly, coping with the loss of a child. Welcome back.
Thank you.
You know, you said to us previously that this year would have been, he would have been 35 years old. A 35, married with children, into a career like your other children, so well established. And I'm sure you can't help but when those days come or moments come, or you witness, or you go to a wedding, or you see things, you get a flashback and you can't help but wonder. It's like me, when I look at my daughter and her accomplishments, or little things that she would do, simple things. Sometimes she would just look at me and smile, and I would say in my heart, Barrett, you have no idea of how much you've missed out on such a dynamic child.
He's watching from
And I always say that she's also missed out on a wonderful father. So I could relate and I could understand that there are times that we do question in our moments, and we do say, and we do ask still, because we go on, as I said earlier on. They've gone to the great beyond, as we lovingly say, into the loving and tender and gentle arms of Bhagwan, of God. But we go on, and so that stays with us. How do you cope? What do you use? Because like I said in the beginning, and I'll say now again, I've always admired the art. When I look at you, and I've known you for years, the balance of life. You've been able to always be so infectious in the sense that you always leave a lasting impression, and a good one, a kind one. You're always ready to help. You're ready to uplift somebody, to do something. You travel, you're kind, you give advice. I know you're a dynamic lady, but what keeps you going and would motivate you to be the burst of sunshine that you are?
Well, basically, I think it's the personality of the person.
Okay.
Right? So if those are your characteristic traits from young, they are embedded in you.
Yeah.
Maybe from astrology, maybe from your past birth, whatever, but you are that person. You cannot change. People do things to you, they hurt you, and then you forgive them so easily. So that is one of the main streaks in a person's character that allows you to be like that. And even though you go through so many challenges in your life, you put those things behind your back and you move on. I read the Gita every day, and that is one of my strongest inspirations.
Good.
And I always believe, there's a saying that service to man is service to God. I believe in that, and I have always been like that. And since, the death of my son, it has become a stronger motivation in me.
Okay.
I must say that when he just passed away, I was totally lost. Sometimes I would be driving to work and then slam the brake suddenly behind somebody's car. You go through these phases, but as the years go by, it fades away slowly. It's like a slow dying kind of thing. But it doesn't die. It doesn't die completely, because when you remember certain things or you hear certain songs, everything wells back up in you like if it was yesterday.
Yes.
So even though it has simmered down over the years, it still exists, and I cannot say you cannot go from this world without those memories. When I was much younger and I just started to teach, I went to two or three funerals of children. And do you know, I think they call this a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think I have experienced that.
Really?
When I went to those 2 or 3 children's funeral at the school where I was teaching, I was always hoping to God that this will never happen to me, and it did happen to me. I don't know where it came from, if it was my karma or my destiny or whatever, however you choose to name it, or whatever you choose to be responsible, to call responsible for it, but it did happen to me. And that was one deep-seated fear that I had, and it came to pass.
You lived it.
Yes, I lived it. So that's why this is one of the things that you asked me previously, how I'm coping with that. It makes you walk on eggshells. You're wary of everything around you. You wake up thinking that enjoy today, be happy today. You know, when this just happened to us, the diagnosis, we had both gotten promotions, just gotten promotions.
Yeah.
Just gotten 2 different cars. I wouldn't say new cars, but different cars. And
There was
everything was going
progress and growth.
smoothly.
Yeah, I could
Right?
relate to that.
And then you get this big junction in your life, where you had to just drop everything material. And then you realize, there's a saying, Kali heart, you go with your hands empty. Everything we have in this world, all our possessions, when we go with nothing. So,
Absolutely nothing. The one thing we leave is our name and our character.
I think that's the
and
only legacy we can
we
leave. The
And
good
that
things
is
that we
what
do
is
and say.
so important, because the fact is, you take absolutely nothing. All the fighting and all the this and all the that and all the, the material things and everything, you just leave. And I see that. I mean, it's 4 years, and I'll tell you, for me, I cannot begin to pack away my husband's things. A lot of people say, are you crazy? It's there intact. It's not interfering with anybody.
It is
Why
hard
should
to
I
let
move
go.
it? Or why should
I still have my son uniform from Holy Cross. I still have his monogram. I still have his books from primary school because I want to look at his writing now and then. So you don't totally let go.
No.
You can't totally let go.
You can't.
No. So even though it is recommended that you let go, there's a saying in the Bhagavad Gita, Gita about detachment. And I think with loved ones, that I cannot come to terms with that statement from the Gita.
Well, I've learned to hold on stronger to God.
Yeah.
I've learned to be grateful.
Yeah.
I've learned, like you, to think and get your thoughts together and think perhaps before you speak. We're not perfect, we're humans. And we don't live in a bubble. Life is life, it's real. But I think my healing or my help is God.
Yeah, same here.
And I still believe in miracles.
Well, I occupy myself so much, and especially with my prayers too. And my God is my strength. Yes.
I see the same. And we say today, we say this to you as well. If you're in such a situation, allow God to be your strength. Allow God to take control and have that full faith and trust. I want to thank you. May God continue to bless you in abundance. You're truly such a remarkable lady. Thank you for sharing your life with us. Thank you for sharing those moments with us, whether you were whole or broken. And I'm sure, like me, I feel full. I ask you also to feel full. Abstract, apply. And if you're broken and if you're hurt, hold on to God. All right? Thank you. God bless you. I'm sure we'll have lots of other conversations.
Yeah.
You be good.
Thank you so
much. Remember to stick and stay with us. Let's go to the top of the hour. And when we return, I'll be in conversation with Mr. Uday Ramaschand, attorney at law, speaking about the Stand Your Ground. All right? Stay with us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Barron. Join me right here on Real TV every Friday during our 6 o'clock major news. I'll be bringing you updates and market insights to wrap up your week. Don't miss it right here on Real TV.
Welcome to Real TV, where real stories come to life. We bring you the latest news, breaking headlines, and the stories that matter most. Need lifestyle tips? We've got those too, from wellness to daily hacks that make life better. Stay informed, stay inspired, and most of all, let your voice be heard. Real TV connects you to the world's knowledge anytime, anywhere. So check out our YouTube channel today, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We invite you to join us on YouTube at RealTV-TNT. You can also view our channel on your local cable networks.
We are the leaders of Marriage of Marriages Ministry. I am Apostle Joel Barrett.
I am Shaman Barrett.
We are inviting you to join us for the program Back to Eden every Tuesday at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. with repeats. Let's return to the foundation of perfect love through dynamic topics of healthy marriages, relationships, love, and truth. Come, walk with us in perfect love.
Join us on Real TV.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Barron. Join me right here on Real TV every Friday during our 6 o'clock major news. I'll be bringing you updates and market insights to wrap up your week. Don't miss it right here on Real TV.
Welcome to Real TV, where real stories come to life. We bring you the latest news, breaking headlines, and the stories that matter most. Need lifestyle tips? We've got those too, from wellness to daily hacks that make life better. Stay informed, stay inspired, and most of all, let your voice be heard. Real TV connects you to the world's knowledge anytime, anywhere. So check out our YouTube channel today, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We invite you to join us on YouTube at RealTV-TNT. You can also view our channel on your local cable networks.
We are the leaders of Marriage of Marriages Ministry. I am Apostle Joel Barrett.
I am Shaman Barrett.
We are inviting you to join us for the program Back to Eden every Tuesday at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. with repeats. Let's return to the foundation of perfect love through dynamic topics of healthy marriages, relationships, love, and truth. Come, walk with us in perfect love.
Join us on Real TV.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
an extended version indeed of Conversations with Zelisa. To all of our local, regional, international viewers, thank you kindly for choosing us here as we continue to inform, educate, empower. And I remind you again, get your pen, get your notebook out so you can take notes on important numbers that will be helpful for you and your loved ones. I am in conversation with a dynamic gentleman, and of course I'm talking about a very seasoned, force to be reckoned with attorney at law, Mr. Uday Ramischand. Mr. Ramischand is the walking institution when it comes to the law. Sir, good morning and a warm welcome. It is our privilege, it is our blessing to have you inform and educate us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone.
Mr. Ramischand, years of your life you've invested into transforming lives and getting closure to so many people and cases. And I know when it comes to knowledge and years of experience, it gives a good reason to have you here, especially when now we are hearing more and more about the stand your ground law. So for the benefit of those hearing about it and you don't understand exactly what it is, Mr. Ramischand, can you kindly explain to us exactly what is the stand your ground law?
Well, stand your ground legislation evolved and emanated from the castle concept.
Okay.
That a man's home is his castle.
Yes.
And it applies to private homes. And as the common law developed, people were entitled to use deadly force once there is what we now call home invasion.
Yes, sir.
So that the concept was that once a man enters your home or your property, there is an ulterior motive to bring harm, to commit some offense.
Yes.
As a result of which the law evolved that a man can use deadly force because it falls under the principle of self-defense. But that applied only to private residence. And there was a duty if someone attacked you in a public place, there was a duty to retreat. And retreat to the extent of where you can no longer retreat, and only then you can resort to reasonable force. Not deadly force, reasonable force in all the circumstances.
May I ask, sir, when you say reasonable force, can you give us some examples that falls within reasonable?
Yeah. There is something we call in law the objective test. And the objective test is what an ordinary, right-thinking, reasonable person would do in the circumstances. There is a subjective test in certain circumstances where it is what you believe. However, it is what the subjective test is what a reasonable man would do in the circumstances.
Understood. I need you to please hold that thought. Let's go to a quick break. We'll be back right after this message. Stay with us.
Peas, Nature's Pride saves you money.
1 pack of Pepe's Nature's Pride peas or beans gives you the same amount as 3.5 cans of peas or beans. You get so much more value and nutrition for so much less money when you use Pepe's Nature's Pride.
When it comes to peas and a wide range of beans, reach for the drive. Peas, Nature's Pride.
Available nationwide.
Yes, people, you have been waiting with bated breath and you have been asking. The Future of Talk is back with yours truly, Heavy Duty, and my co-host,
TC, and we are live on Real TV from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. every afternoon, Monday to Friday.
Yes, you heard it, Real TV, right here. Yours truly, Heavy Duty and TC. The Future of Talk is back.
Yeah.
Right?
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa. I'm in conversation with learned attorney at law, walking institution, Mr. Uday Ramischand, and today he's here to inform, educate us, and understand our rights as citizens when it comes to the Stand Your Ground legislation. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
So you were explaining to us with regards to what is reasonable within the law of making the right choice or the right decision at that time when we feel, with regards to, you said it correctly, our home is our castle, and we should feel most safe and comfortable in our homes. But when we've got the ills of society invading our privacy or coming into our homes, then we have the right within ourselves, within our home, to take action.
Yes, well, you see, if the moment a man enters your yard or your property or your entrance gate and you resort to deadly force without making inquiries, you believe that this, you know or believe that you know that this man has come to endanger your life, to commit a crime, and so on. In that event, the subjective test is what I will kill, I will do anything, I'll pull my gun and shoot in self-defense. However, there is a contradiction in section 7.2, which contradicts the other section in the proposed bill.
Okay.
And I will deal with that. But before people understand the concept of stand your ground legislation, there's three legal principles I need to discuss.
Sure.
The first one is there is a principle you call ex debito justitiae. That is, out of justice, there's something crying out for justice. For example, someone could come and rape someone in your house.
Right.
The obvious inference to be drawn, or the obvious conclusion, is that, look, you should take a cutlass or some weapon and defend yourself.
Right.
So out of justice, you're entitled to act in that way.
Okay.
And the principle of ex debito justitiae, would fall, it is the circumstance I described just now, would fall under that principle.
Right.
It is out of justice you can do certain things.
Okay.
Because, you know, we always say, you want justice, you want justice.
We
Right.
do.
So out of justice, but there are two other principles. There is one called voluntae non fit injuria.
Okay.
It is, for example, two boxers agreeing to box in a ring. Both agree that they will exonerate each other in the event of one suffering injury.
Correct.
So, if a man voluntarily enters my property, and I form the view that you've come here as a trespasser to commit a crime or to commit a robbery, it means that you, having come on my premises without my invitation,
Right.
I am entitled to use any force. Because you voluntarily enter into my premises.
Right.
And therefore, voluntae non fit injuria, if it applies, would mean that you take the risk to come into my place.
Right.
And you must face the consequences.
Okay.
As two boxers, if one kill the other. You accept the fact that that is a likely consequence.
It is.
Right. However, there is another principle called res ipso loquitur. And that principle is, I can use an example. If my car is parked in a lawful parking place, and you come from the road and run into my car, the thing speaks for itself.
Right.
It means that you obviously was negligent. So if a person enters my property with the intent of, once you enter my property and I don't consent or invite you, the principle, you invoke the principles of voluntae non fit injuria, because you take the risk to come to my place.
Right.
And therefore I, reacting with force, res ipso loquitur. It speaks for itself. If you come in and open my gate with my permission, I entitled to defend myself and take something to hit you or defend myself.
Exactly.
So if you apply those principles, those three principles, they covered what should be the standing ground legislation, that you entitled to use deadly force if someone comes to your property to commit a crime or to injure you with weapons, whatever, right?
Right.
So firstly, out of justice ex debito justitiae, you voluntarily enter my property.
Right.
That's voluntae non fit injuria. And I am entitled in the circumstances to use reasonable force to defend myself,
Right.
so that the principle of res ipso loquitur applies, and it speaks for itself.
Okay.
So see, that should be the objective, the application of those three principles to the concept of stand your ground legislation.
Okay.
The provisions of section 7, 8, and 9, the intent is that if your man enters and commit a crime, you could use reasonable force. So I would like to take the public into section 7, 8, and 9.
Sure.
Now the previous sections define what is a cartilage, what is a dwelling house, another definition of what is a dwelling house, and something attached to your dwelling house you use as to live is part of your dwelling house.
Right.
So the previous sections explain a lot of things so that you can properly interpret.
Understood.
the act.
Understood.
So for one, you will see an amazing contradiction of this legislation if it is passed. And let me tell you what, it will create more confusion than the law as it presently stands. Because 8 and 9 and 7.1 contemplate stand your ground legislation, the use of deadly force.
Right.
But then section 2 says the court must consider several factors, and those factors fall under the objective test, the test of what would a right, ordinary, reasonable person do in those circumstances. So where is, you can use deadly force. It is the force under section 7.2 that an ordinary, right-thinking, reasonable person would use, which departs from the subjective into the objective. So that what you have, whereas 7.1, 8, and 9 contemplates deadly force and the principle of res ipsa loquitur, 7.2 contradicts that.
Okay.
So for the benefit of the public, I can read those sections
Certainly.
and explain.
So let's do that when we return. Let's go to
Okay.
these important messages. In conversation with attorney at law, Mr. Uday Ramachandran, as he continues to enlighten us so we have a greater understanding of exactly what is the stand your ground law. Let's go to these important messages. Stay with us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jonathan Barron. Join me right here on Real TV every Friday during our 6 o'clock major news. I'll be bringing you updates and market insights to wrap up your week. Don't miss it right here on Real TV.
Welcome to Real TV, where real stories come to life. We bring you the latest news, breaking headlines, and the stories that matter most. Need lifestyle tips? We've got those too, from wellness to daily hacks that make life better. Stay informed, stay inspired, and most of all, let your voice be heard. Real TV connects you to the world's knowledge anytime, anywhere. So check out our YouTube channel today, and don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. We invite you to join us on YouTube at RealTV-TNT. You can also view our channel on your local cable networks.
We are the leaders of Marriage of Marriages Ministry. I am Apostle Joel Barrett.
I am Shaman Barrett.
We are inviting you to join us for the program Back to Eden every Tuesday at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. with repeats. Let's return to the foundation of perfect love through dynamic topics of healthy marriages, relationships, love, and truth. Come, walk with us in perfect love.
Join us on Real TV.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa, where we continue to inform, educate, empower, and answer those unanswered questions. In conversation with Mr. Uday Rameshchand, Walking Institution, attorney at law, as he continues to inform and educate us. Welcome back, sir. And today you're talking to us so that we could have a greater understanding. And knowledge is power. When we have good knowledge, we could make better choices and better decisions. So we're extremely grateful that you're sharing your wealth of knowledge with us when it comes to this important law. That at least we'll have a greater understanding. Mr. Rameshchand, there are different scenarios, and that is, of course, we have the people, the pipers, as we say, casually, well, they come and they take our mangoes or our avocados, or they steal our gas tank, or the clothes off of the lines or the plants and things like that, as opposed to people coming in your home with a gun, ransacking and intimidating your family and using that violence and, as you say, inevitably in some cases, which is sad, maybe rape your wives and your daughters, even your sons. So there is a difference, clearly. So perhaps understanding this law and the importance of this law, or how it can help or not help us,
Yes.
you play an important
I
role.
think Section 7 of the bill, the intended act, Section 7.1 covers that. That is why I had earlier adverted to subsection 1 of Section 7.
Yes.
And let me read it. Subject to Section 10, and Section 10 deals with a law enforcement officer entering your property.
Okay.
You are not entitled to use force to repel them because they are carrying out a lawful duty. So the provisions of the Act do not apply in circumstances where law enforcement officers come to your premises.
So now we're talking about police officers, army,
bailiff, marshals of the court.
Okay.
The army accompanied by police.
Now, they are supposed to, the law
identify
is they need to
themselves
identify themselves.
properly.
I am so-and-so from
Yeah.
so-and-so, and I'm here about so.
Yeah.
And we should not retaliate, we should not be abusive, we should not use profanity. I've seen videos where people very abusive to the law
Yes,
officials,
yes.
and I think, that is of poor taste. So they are carrying out a duty, and we need to have some respect and regard for that. Understood?
Not only a duty, but a lawful one.
Okay, sir. Great.
Now, Section 7.1 contemplates the situation you adverted to.
Okay.
Subject to Section 10, an occupant has no duty to retreat and has the right to stand his ground against a home invader and use or threaten to use force against the home invader where the occupant believes on reasonable grounds that force was being used against him or another person, or that a threat of force was being made against him or another person, or that his life or the life of another person was immediate danger or threat of danger, believes that his actions were necessary and reasonable in order to defend or protect himself or another person from the use or threat of force, establishes that that the defensive force used was proportionate to the threat he honestly believed to exist. Right? Now, there's where we go to 2. So, Section 1, if a piper comes to pick avocado,
Right.
you can't just go and use deadly force on such a
Or
person.
shoot him down.
No.
Or
You
take a
have-
cutlass and chop him up.
You have to use reasonable force in the circumstances.
Understand
That is what
this.
that means.
Right.
So you're not entitled to take out a piece of iron and beat the piper to death. That is unreasonable in the
Okay.
circumstances.
I've seen
You can-
videos, however, sir,
Yeah.
where people tie them up and beat them and the whole community
Now you can entitled to tie them, that is reasonable force, but you cannot beat them.
to death.
Not to death, you cannot beat them to injure them either, because that is not reasonable force in the circumstances. You've already suppressed the man. You have tied him up.
So call the police.
Call the police.
Call the police.
Right. You
Don't
can't-
take the law into your own hands.
Right.
Okay, understood.
But I want to go to Section 8 and then we'll come back to Section 2, because Section 8.1, subject to Section 10, same thing again.
Okay.
army and police law enforcement. That's section 10. An occupant has no duty to retreat and has the right to stand his ground against a home invader and use or threaten to use force against the home invader or do anything else that he believes on reasonable grounds to be necessary to prevent a home invasion from entering, to cause a home invader who's dwelling, several things. So again, you could use reasonable force in the circumstances, right? But it says the occupant has no duty to retreat and has a right to stand his ground. So whereas where they, in public places in the common law, you had a duty to retreat, in your home, you have no duty to retreat. You can instantaneously confront the invader and use reasonable force. But the word they use has no duty to retreat and has the right to stand his ground against a home invader and use or threaten to use force against the invader or do anything else he believes on reasonable grounds to be necessary.
Okay,
Right?
I need to ask you this.
Yeah.
You go to the supermarket or you stop on your way home buying bread, milk, whatever you're going to pick up, vegetables perhaps,
Yeah.
and somebody come to hold up the owner of that establishment.
Yeah.
You are there. Do you have the right then, well, you may not have a gun, but if you find a knife to stab that person?
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Well, if you read the definition section, a business place is also a private place.
Right.
You are not, that's a person
You are
private
not the
business,
owner,
but the
right.
public is entitled to go to
Right,
shop.
to go to shop.
Any person is entitled to defend himself or the life
Of another.
of another.
Okay, sir.
So if you are in a business place
Yeah.
and somebody endangers the life of another, you're entitled to defend that person just as you are entitled to defend yourself.
Oh, understood.
Right?
Understood.
So let us look at and this is where I would submit that section 7.2 of the Act should be completely, entirely be deleted.
Okay.
And subsection 8.3 should be substituted for subsection 2. And I'll explain why.
Okay.
This is what subsection 3 says. For the purposes of this section, it is immaterial, now listen to this carefully, whether belief is justified or not. If it is honestly held, but in considering whether an occupant uses defensive force honestly held the belief, the court shall have regard to the presence or absence of reasonable grounds for the occupant so believing and all other relevant circumstances. Right? So it is whether you honestly believe your life is in danger, a crime is to be committed, you
Right.
can use deadly force.
Okay.
Right? But the court is entitled to look at the circumstances to see whether you honestly believe that you are in danger. You must honestly believe that you're in danger. You know, there's something in defamation law where I disagree with certain judgments. Because if you feel someone has said something and you honestly believe that a person has done something and you say that, but you honestly believe he did it, you can be sued for defamation as a defense.
Okay.
Right? Now, there's no lawyer in the Caribbean that did more defamation cases like
Than
me.
you.
So I know that area very well. But if you honestly believe, the court is entitled to look as to whether you honestly believe. It is a finding the court has to make in the circumstances. The court would have to look at all the circumstances. Now, to determine you honestly believe, the court is not entitled to use the reasonable man test. This is now a subjective test as to what you believe.
Right.
You may not be like the ordinary, reasonable, right-thinking man. Right?
Right. Oh, okay.
You see what I mean?
Understood.
Right. If I may have overreacted, whereas another person may not act that way.
Right.
But it is not that. It is what I believe
Within yourself
in
at
between
that time.
myself. It is not what an ordinary, let me tell you something. One of the mistakes people are making
Yes, sir.
is to assume that when a man invades your home, inside your house, you can think rationally. You don't. You can't.
You can't.
It is impossible.
Yeah.
So, that is why they have, if you honestly believe
Ah.
in the circumstances.
Yeah.
But it is not what
Yeah.
another person may
Yeah.
believe. It is what you believe.
Well, the thing is, Mr. Rameshchan, the fact is we've got 5 fingers and none are the same.
Right.
And so we think
That
differently.
is the point.
And we act differently based
Right,
on
right,
circumstances.
Right.
So how then do you determine, how then does the court determine you are within your rights to believe what you follow what I'm saying?
yeah.
How is that determined?
Well, you know, in criminal law, I did a murder case not too long ago. And there's now introduced something called social impact.
Yes.
When you kill someone,
Yeah.
persons, relatives, wife, spouse, children, grandparents can come and say how that death impacted on them. Right?
Yeah.
And that could lead to the gravity of the sentence would also depend on the social impact, the consequences of killing a man. Right?
Yeah.
Now, the consequence of killing a man be different to you than to another.
Yes.
The court must look at all the circumstances. The person goes in the witness box and see how they were affected.
Yeah.
You see? So,
So
yeah, go ahead.
the thing I'm thinking is that we kill for different reasons,
Yes,
right?
yes.
We kill perhaps because of anger and rage
Yeah.
or in self-defense. There are
Yeah.
different situations.
That is why
and
you have
circumstances.
manslaughter.
Exactly.
Because it is
premeditate, yes.
Whereas premeditation,
Yeah.
you see, murder
Yes, sir.
or a crime has 2 parts.
Yeah.
There's, apart from strict liability
Mhm.
crimes, you have mens rea, the intent,
Right.
and the actus reus,
Mhm.
the act of killing.
Mhm.
You're chopping out a man or you're shooting.
Mhm.
But if, now there's another thing, if you shoot at someone
Mhm.
and it ricochet and kill someone else,
Mhm.
it's still murder, you know, right? So in Trinidad, we have something called the murder felony rule. Because if you go to commit a felony without intent to kill, the law presumes that you will know that going to rob a man could also include using force. And therefore, if that results, although when you enter, you didn't go to kill, you went to rob. You see, the ricocheting I talk is the doctrine of transfer malice. That
But
is
the
called.
thing is, Mr. Rameshchan,
Yeah.
you go to rob somebody in their house, whether it's a real gun or a pretend gun, the fact is you go with the intent. I'm thinking in my
Yes,
mind,
yes.
you invade that person's life and privacy, their home, their whole work, wherever you go.
Yeah.
The fact is you are bandits. You go with the intent to kill. If
That's
you have
right.
and this barbaric way they have, and ransacking and intimidating and building that fear into the people.
Let's
Isn't
face
that an
it.
intent, sir?
Well, there are 2 intent, but let's face it. The moment somebody invades your house, you're sleeping. Somebody in your house
Yes.
knocking. You cannot think. No human being can think rationally. You become irrational.
Of course.
So if you, in your irrational state of mind, well, firstly, if you honestly believe, now this is the thing about honestly believe, that is why you have to look at the circumstances.
Okay.
Because if you are sleeping and you jump up,
Yeah.
and
Well,
somebody
you
in your
alarm,
bedroom,
yeah. You just see these people, but yeah.
you must believe your life in danger.
Of course.
Whereas if a man come by your gate, open your gate, walk in, well, look, you're entitled to address the circumstance, say, what are you doing here and this and that. And once you see he going beyond that and coming to you, and you honestly believe he coming to injure or harm you,
Yeah.
you can use deadly force. But you must honestly believe that your life is in danger.
Okay.
Or danger of injury.
Understood.
So let us go
Sure.
to section 9. 8.3. 9. For the purposes of subsection 7 and 8, it is lawful for a person acting in good faith in aid of an occupant during a home invasion or who acts on the direction of an occupant during a home invasion to use the same degree of force against a home invader that an occupant may reasonably use. So 9 says that if someone is in the house with you and somebody attack that person, you're entitled to use such force as you would use to defend yourself. That applies to the business premises example you used a short while ago. So this is what I'm suggesting. So all 7, 1, 8, and 9 talks about reasonable force,
Right.
defense of yourself and defense of others.
Yeah.
But look at what 7, 2 says, and there is where it will be chaos.
Yeah.
Absolute chaos in the court.
Okay.
We're determining whether the defensive force used was reasonable in the circumstances. The court shall take into account several factors, and these are the nature of the force or threat, the extent to which the use of force was imminent, and whether there were other means available to respond to the potential use of potential use of force, where like retreat and so on.
Yes.
Right? Is contradictory to 7, 1.
Okay.
So it says the occupant's role in the incident, whether any party to the incident used or threatened to use a weapon, firearm, or an explosive device. That is, if the occupant, the homeowner, if he threatened to use a home device, and so the other person is entitled to react with force, right? The size, age, gender, and physical capabilities of the parties to the incident. When a party to the incident is a person with a mental health, within the meaning of the Mental Health Act. The nature, duration, and history of any relationship between the parties, including any prior use or threat of force, and the nature of the force or threat, any history of interaction or communication between the parties to the incident, the nature and proportionality of the occupant's response to the use or threat of force, whether the occupant acted under mistaken belief of imminent threat or use of, which is contradictory, because if you honestly believe your life is danger, then this contradicts that, because it says this. The nature and whether there was whether acted under mistaken belief, whether the occupant acted under mistaken belief of imminent threat or use of force, and the mistake was a reasonable one to have made. Whether you had that mistaken belief, but is an honest belief. So if it is the man didn't intend it, but you felt honestly that your life was in danger, what would the code do? Apply this or apply that?
Understood.
You understand?
I understand your point.
So this whole section 7.2
kind of
is contradicting the whole act. Because now it's introducing several factors which goes to this objective test, what a reasonable, right-thinking, ordinary man would do in this
So
circumstance.
this has to be aborted before the new one is implemented, or if it's implemented?
There is no stand your ground legislation in Trinidad, as far as I'm aware. There are in Miami, Florida, several states in America. So I think they're following the one in Florida. But let me give you these other factors. That having regard to the circumstances, an occupant acting for a legitimate purpose may not be able to weigh to a precise degree the exact measure of any necessary action. I don't know, a court will, or a jury will decide on that. Whether the occupant did what he honestly and instinctively thought was necessary for a legitimate purpose, that contradicts the previous section. Any other compelling factors based on the circumstances of the case. So the court now, a judge will have to direct a jury, before you can find any verdict of guilt, you must consider all these factors.
Yeah.
And it is not stand your ground, use reasonable force if you honestly believe you're in danger anymore. So if a man enters your home, you must ask yourself, you have to read to yourself all of these. What is reasonable? What must I do in these circumstances? What would a reasonable person do? I have to consider all these. It's like 3 plus 9 plus 11 will equal to a certain figure. So you have to go through each figure, add it up, and come to the final figure.
But in the moment, and you are trying to save yourself,
You a man breaking your house.
Do you have time to think?
You
the
have
first
time to
thing is
think.
self-defense.
What kind of-
You
This
crazy, you
is-
lose your marbles to come and invade my home and
I
expect
don't want
me.
to
No.
I don't want to be disrespectful to the Law Reform Commission. But this is, in my respectful view,
Yes, sir.
7.2 is non sequitur,
Okay.
vis-a-vis section 7.1, 8, and 9. You're entitled to use reasonable force to defend another if they were with you in the house or in the private business place or wherever.
Okay.
Yourself and an occupant. So, if you're in your house, I want to ask you this. If you're sleeping in your house with your children, spouse, whatever, and suddenly knock, 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 you push it on your bedroom door, which is the norm.
It is a norm.
And the man pull out a gun, I have to consider, listen, would I be reasonable to defend myself? Would I be acting as not a rational person will be acting? I must go through all of that, by which time you're dead. Correct?
Exactly. Should I wait to decide what to do and you shoot up my family and kill my family?
Are you raping somebody's wife or daughter
Exactly.
or spouse?
Do I wait?
I have to calculate everything in 7.2 and it's gone back to square one.
Correct.
The moment section 7.2 kicks in, you're back to square one.
Okay.
What you must retreat, you must use reasonable force in the circumstances, and what would a right-thinking, ordinary, reasonable person do in those circumstances? You're going back to the reasonable man test, which is the objective test. If you comes into my house and I honestly believe I'm in danger and I reacted and used deadly force, it is a subjective test. It is what I honestly believe. But section 7.2 contradicts. It is what is a reasonable, right-thinking, ordinary man will do in the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
So whilst you have a gun on my thing, I have my gun at this side. But before I pull my gun to shoot you, I have to consider, would I be rational to do this? Would I be reasonable in the circumstances? Should I retreat and run down the stairs and go and hide? And by the time I run down the stairs, a man shoot me in the back.
It's about saving yourself and your family. It's about
Simple.
making the choice about saving lives.
That is why I'm saying, res ipso loquitur, the thing speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
If a man comes, I'm entitled to defend myself and use deadly force, res ipso loquitur. Because volunteer non-fit injuria, you voluntarily came to rob me, right? And ex debido justitiae, out of justice, I am entitled to kill or to repel force with force, and more force if necessary.
I'm entitled to save myself and my family.
Right. So, it is my most respectful view that section 7.2 will throw the law into extreme chaos.
Okay.
And now, let us write ordinary writing, objective test. How would a juror or jurors, in deliberating on the evidence, how would they weigh all these factors? You have a calculator, and they had to go and use formula, and remember, murder cases, 12 juries, and 12 members of the jury. So it is my most respectful view that section 7.2 should be deleted, and let me tell you what they should do.
I want you to hold that thought.
Yeah.
When we return, you'll tell us what you suggest should be done. This is a program, Conversations with Zelisa, right here on Real TV, bringing reality to you. Stay with us. Let's go to these messages.
Step into the colors and flavors of India at the India in Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence, Mokoya. Experience the magic of one of the largest Ganesha Murtis in the Caribbean, with daily arati at 1 and 7 p.m. Dive into our Indian food festival, featuring a delicious variety, from crispy dosa to mouth-watering tandoori specialties. Plus, explore vibrant Indian clothing, elegant outfits for the entire family, perfect for every occasion. Open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Join us for a joyful celebration of culture, cuisine, and tradition. India in Style Expo, opening on August 16, opposite the Center of Excellence in Mokoya. See you there.
Hello everyone, I am Terrence Brown, and I'm bringing you a new program called Victorious Lifestyle on Real TV. This program is about dealing with all the problems that we may have through demon possession, family conflict, if you're in need of counseling, if you are confused and anxiety is stepping in about what is happening in the world today, we are dealing with Bible prophecy. This is a program of hope, a program of power, a program of peace. It is Victorious Lifestyle, every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. God bless you.
Looking for music that moves your heart and captivates your soul? Real Radio sets the mood, where sound becomes emotion and every moment pulses with real rhythm. From the hits you love to the voices that speak truth. It's real facts, real talk, real music. Listen live at realtv.radiostream321.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my supreme and extraordinary pleasure to invite you to join us on Real TV every Wednesday at 2 p.m. for this special, spectacular program called Inspired. We will bring hope to the hopeless, joy to the sorrowful. We will bring satisfaction to those who are depressed and anxious. You just can't afford to miss it. And you have to tell your family members, your friends, and your enemies that every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on Real TV, we have real inspiration. The title of the program is Inspired. See you there.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome back to Conversations with Zelisa right here on Real TV, where we bring reality to you, to our local, regional, international viewers. Thank you so much for choosing us in conversation today with Mr. Uday Ramachan, attorney at law, walking institution as he continues to inform, educate, so that we could make better decisions and choices. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah. Now, as I was saying, Section 8(3). Remember, I'm saying that this section should be Section 7(2).
Yes.
And delete subsection 2 of 7, right?
Correct.
And this is what is, and I will amend it this way. For the purposes of this section, which is Section 7, and Section 8 and 9,
yes,
it is immaterial, A, whether a belief is justified or not, if it is honestly held. But in considering whether an occupant uses defensive force honestly held the belief, the court shall have regard to the presence or absence of reasonable grounds for the occupant so believing and all other relevant circumstances. So, understanding ground legislation, the sections that create or deal with offenses of stand your ground, 7, 8, and 9. Section 8(3), as it now stands, Section 7(2) should be deleted, and 8(3) becomes Section 7(2), applying to Section 7(2), 8, and 9 when you're dealing with stand your ground offenses, people entering your premises, because this is what it says. For the purpose of this section, it is immaterial whether belief is justified or not. If it is honestly held. Those are the important words. So if I confront somebody confronts me in my house, and I honestly believe that my life is in danger,
yeah,
I am entitled to use deadly force because of my honest belief, my intent. You see, belief is your intent.
Right.
Right? Like mens rea, your mental, your mind.
Right.
So that is why a crime like murder, you have mens rea and actus reus.
Mhm.
So the mens reas, you form premeditate.
Mhm.
You form the intent to kill.
Right.
You go and you kill a man by chopping him, by shooting him. That is the actus reus.
Right.
So you've completed the crime. Mens rea, actus reus.
Mhm.
Stand your ground legislation.
Mhm.
If you honestly believe that a man come to kill you,
Right.
or to bring danger to you, harm to you, your spouse, your children, occupants of the home,
Yes.
you honestly believe, that's the operative words, honest believe. It doesn't matter whether somebody else would not believe that, you know. This is a subjective test, it's what you believe.
Right. And
So
it's an
I am
instinct.
confronted.
It's an instinct.
Right. So the court cannot apply the reasonable man's test, the objective test. It has to be subjective. It has to be applying to that person. Subjectively, how that person believe. What did that person believe?
Believes
Not
and-
a right thinking, rational person exercising liberty, a free agent. You were in those circumstances.
In that
It's
circumstance,
peculiar to
at
you.
the moment.
Right. And
Ah.
it is what you, faced with those circumstances,
Yeah.
apprised of the danger, you think, what should I do in the circumstances, and what would a reasonable, right thinking, ordinary person do? No. It's your castle. There is where you live. You have spent all your hard-earned earnings to make your home. Everything is there, where you enjoy your daily livelihood.
You invade my privacy.
That's right. So, finally, I want to close, and then we can take some questions. And anything in law, there's not an issue in law that I would not have done inquiries. Anything. So, the point I'm making, I am very worried that this bill will be enacted with section 7.2. And if that is the case, now let me ask you, let me say this.
Yes.
Let us say a jury
Mhm.
finds somebody guilty
Yeah.
and it goes to the Court of Appeal.
Mhm.
How would the court, what yardstick would the Court of Appeal use to determine whether the jury considered all those factors in 7.2? How can the Court of Appeal know that? There were 3 judges. They didn't see the witnesses. Now remember, a trial by jury, 3 are human beings. How would you know whether they take all those factors into consideration? It's from A to N. All
A
those.
to N.
A to N, right? So if you appeal a conviction, the Court of Appeal can't be, they can say it is a perverse jury, but it may not be perverse, because the jury may find that this person honestly believed.
Yeah.
But if they have to apply all section 7.2, then they can't know what the jury, what they consider. If they must consider A to N, they must consider all, and then come to a finding of fact.
Okay.
Right? And acquit or convict. So it throws that area of the law into chaos. So that's as much as I can say. I want to say something else with section 7.2 is that a lot of innocent people will get conviction, and a lot of convicted people will be acquitted in the Court of Appeal, because the Court of Appeal can't apply A to N of section 7.2.
Understood, and that's alarming.
Right. So this is for the benefit of the public, and I see they have a lot of consultation going on.
A lot, and that's why I felt the importance to have you here to explain, because we're seeing a lot. You're very correct in terms of meetings and gatherings and questions and concerns, but I think it's important that as the citizens we really understand, get to the core and understand the true meaning of what it is and what it means, and more importantly, is it right or wrong?
It is an attempt to implement the voluntary non-fit injuria principle. The the res ipsa loquitur principle, because ex debito justitiae, to me justice, a man his home is his castle, he has human, and the thing is, these are fundamental rights enshrined in section 4 and 5 of the Constitution. Free liberty, right to life, right to liberty, privacy, to home, and people's family and all of that.
Mr. Ramachan, we've had the Honorable Prime Minister say, somebody invade your home, your child is being raped, they.
Dramatic.
She said it.
Loaded. Yes,
She
I
said
know.
it.
Yeah.
And I think in understanding due to circumstance and invading one's privacy and the right to your individual and the safety for your family as well, instinct will set in. You don't sit idly by and think. You do what you're supposed to do to safeguard yourself and your family.
So, a person in your house, what you honestly believe, if you think your life in danger, you're entitled to use such force as necessary to suppress the person, or if necessary, kill the person to save your life.
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. Your closing comments, and I trust and hope we'll have other conversations with regards to educating the public, about their rights, duties and responsibilities as well as citizens. Your closing comments, sir.
I think that the public should attend these consultations, and they should address what I've addressed, and they should express their view, and I think they should get the act. Because it's a bill now. Access it on the internet, print it out, read it, and go and make the comments. And I hope what I've said this morning can guide some people to come to a rational assessment of the provisions of the bill.
Well, knowledge is power, and we are very grateful for you taking time off of your busy schedule to be here to inform, educate, and empower us. I trust, as I said earlier, we'll have other conversations. May God bless you. He's certainly a force to be reckoned with, a walking institution, I always say. Such a wealth of knowledge and years of experience, Mr. Uday Ramachan, attorney at law. God bless you, sir. See you soon. Thank you. This is where we're going to wrap things up for today. Let me remind you to be good, law-abiding citizens, to do what is right at all times. Here's reminding you that with God, all things are possible. Thank you kindly for choosing us here on Real TV. Be safe, be kind, be good. I am Zelisa Budusing Rupani. Be safe. See you tomorrow.